everyone. Welcome to the Investing Across Borders show. My name is Miri Lenov. I am here with two special guests, let's just say. So we have obviously Lauren. She's usually not here, so it's awesome that she's joining us today because
I'm a
Tracy's here.
figment of your imagination.
Right. So thank you, Lauren, for coming to this show, to this today, because usually Lauren is very busy, so that's why she doesn't join us. But today is a special day because we have Tracy Kawa. She is the Investing Across Borders Master Training on the assessment that we use to match people with franchises. So today we're going to talk about franchises, the importance of being matched with the right one, and how does this work? I mean, we don't just look at franchises and we say, oh, this one looks good. Maybe this person will be interested in it. There's a whole science that goes behind it because if not, it wouldn't be a good match. So, Tracy, do you want to say hello?
Hi, everyone. And yeah, I feel honored that Lauren is here today, or she's not usually here. So thank you for both of you for having me on the show. Yeah.
My pleasure.
Sure. It's our pleasure. Lauren, any welcoming words?
Oh boy, now I'm put on the spot. Well, so Tracy used to be, actually Tracy is in one of my most famous pictures with me when I was on the front page of the Palm Beach Post. I don't know, how long ago was that? Like 6 years ago?
No, it had to be like 8 years ago.
It was a long time ago. And she and I were on the front page, and she did a lot of work with us when we were in our heyday of EB5, and she's back. Welcome back. See, they always come back here.
House.
They stay away from me very long. That's just what happens.
That's awesome. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, so let's get started, shall we? Because we have a lot to cover in the next 30 minutes. And the first question that I want to ask Tracy is, how does this tool kind of like work? We talked about the assessment that we use so that people can be matched with the right people. So if you can tell us a little bit more about it, that would be great.
Sure. Do you want the long answer or the short answer? Because I just came up with a 4-hour training, training people on how the tool is used. But honestly, as you were saying, this tool is an incredible tool. It's based in science. Literally, a behavioral scientist created the tool, and with the specific purpose of matching the right franchisee to the right franchisor. So it's based on 7 different sciences. And the great thing about the tool is it's only 32 questions. Investing across border assessment, literally, it will take you 15 minutes to take the assessment. But the beauty of it is it literally will identify your professional DNA. It will tell you who you are as a business builder and who you need to have on your team in order to succeed, what strengths to lean into, where to put your time and energy and effort, and where to get some help, where to get some support.
Wow. That's amazing. I mean, when we use it, we see kind of like some franchises that people would be good at partnering with or joining, I guess the right word. But how does that happen? I mean, maybe you can give us a little bit more information because that sounds really amazing.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the assessment tool is based on 7 different sciences, and the results produce an 8-page report. So if you can imagine 15 questions 32 questions producing an 8-page report. It's like mind-blowing. And what happens is some of the modules that are released are modules on what your values are, what your cultural fit is, and what your compatibility is. So what that does internally is it helps us to understand the type of franchise that would be a best fit for a person, because there are a lot of different types of franchises out there.
Mm-hmm.
There are brick and mortar. There are tech franchises. There are remote, fully remote franchises. There are hands-on at a client's, establishment type of franchises. There are various industries, everything from pets to sustainability, right? healthcare to, all kind of vending machines. There's so much out there. Some are B2B, some are B2C. It's mind blowing. So with all of those options, it's like, imagine being a kid in a candy store, but you never tasted any candy before.
Correct.
How would you choose? How would you
Yeah.
know what it makes? You wouldn't. So you need a guide. And this is actually a guide for helping you understand when you're coming into the US, these are the franchises that you can be looking at. They're proven, they've been successful. And guess what? A, B, and C are a great match for you. Maybe these other ones over here aren't as much of a match. Let's focus on A, B, and C. Let's narrow down our choices. Let's get you in the right franchise here in the US so that you can build a life. You can build your family. You can build your legacy here. There's so much going on.
Wow. I'll just add to that because we often get like people say, well, can you just recommend a couple of franchises? Can you just say, like last night we had a call, can you just recommend a couple of investments? No. There are lots of people that will do that because they think it's really one size fits all. But if I did that, then I would be doing a complete disservice to myself, to our business, and to our clients, because there's a million, like you said, there's a million franchises, and matching with them is so important, because if you don't have if there's not a good fit on the surface, there's certainly not going to be a good fit when you dig deeper.
Absolutely. And if somebody won't take the time to invest those 15 minutes, then, they're not going to be willing to comply to a franchisor's systems anyway. But what amazes me is that there are thousands and thousands of choices, and gone are the days of, gee, let me choose Wendy's or McDonald's. No, it's franchises has blown so far past your standard fast food. You would be amazed, right? And our listeners would be amazed at how many. I'm amazed, and I work with the industry. I am amazed at how many franchise options there are out there. So you definitely need a guide in investing across borders to guide you to the right. And you know what? There have been franchisees that have gone with the wrong system and that have failed. And the last thing you want to do, especially when you're applying for a visa to come be a permanent resident in the US, the last thing you want to do is go with the wrong franchise concept. It's all about finding the right fit, a good fit for you, the right fit for you, and making a win-win-win situation, not only for you, but for the community that you're now entering and for the people that you're going to employ. Or maybe it's going to be you working by yourself within the company. But if you're looking to grow, to scale, franchise is your best bet, because somebody else has already done all that legwork for you. They've already proven the process.
Yeah, definitely. And I love what you're saying, that, a lot of things can go wrong. You obviously don't know what could go wrong, but you want to be and do your research as much as you can. So if you're using an assessment to be able to tell you if you're a good fit, you're going to be farther along than just basing it off of gut and basing it off of thinking that you're going to be good at this, because there's a lot of things that go into it that you might not be thinking about, that you might not be aware about. And this assessment helps you so that you can take that into consideration. And I think that maybe we can, you also mentioned that the tool does a lot of things, not just the matching. So I think maybe if you can give us like some examples of what other applications this tool has, I think that will be great, so that we can really understand it.
I liken this tool as if you go into a redwood forest and you take a cross section of one of the redwood trees, and then you can count the rings in the trees, and you know how old the tree is. Maybe you can find out if there's ever been a forest fire on a particular year. Maybe a woodpecker pecked too much on I'm just saying, pecked too much on a particular year. So it's basically the same thing. Taking the assessment is like taking a cross section of us as a business person. If somebody takes the assessment, it will show their professional DNA, what their values are, what drives them, right? If you're driven by contribution, yet you step into a franchise concept that has a different set of values, right? Maybe it's growth or fun or, just whatever it is, but it's not exactly contribution. That's going to be a poor fit. So number one, values. And every business professional should know what their values are anyway. Every business professional. And the thing is, it's not enough to just take the assessment. You need a debrief on the assessment, because I have had plenty of people make assumptions about what the results mean, and they were entirely wrong. So there is a very, very methodical way to read through the assessment results. So you'll find out your values. The other thing that it will tell you is the stage of growth, the size of company that's a best fit for you. So let's say somebody says, oh, I want to work with a startup, and maybe this is even outside of franchise. Somebody wants to come here and work with a startup, but maybe they're not built for a startup. Maybe that is too much chaos going on at once for them, too many moving pieces. Maybe they need to work in a small growing company, or maybe they need to work in a large corporation, or maybe they need to, invest in a smaller but growing company. There are just so many variables and so many pieces to juggle. The other thing is that the assessment will actually help you understand your own decision-making process. So you will literally understand how to make your best decisions that align with your values. There are so many times that we make a decision because we feel like we have to make a decision, but we're not basing it off of anything concrete. It's kind of willy-nilly. But if we base it off of what our values are, then we're never going to stray from our values. And that's what's so important, is to take the assessment to allow us to understand ourselves on a deeper level so that we can make values-based decisions.
I love that, because everything can change. Your skills can change. You can improve some things here and there, but you're always going to be the same person. So what you just said is really, really valuable.
Yep.
That it's not based on somebody else or things that you can acquire over time, but it's more based on who you are as a person, and kind of like sharing that culture with the potential franchise is so important so that you can be matched in the best way possible. I think that maybe, I understand the tool because obviously we use it, but I think maybe if you can give us an example of like what happens when you take the assessment. Obviously on our end, we look at the results and we see some of the leadership qualities that the person has. And you spoke a little bit about some of the other applications, but maybe you can give us kind of like a practical example, like Johnny comes in and he fills it out. And then what happens? What is the type of result that he would get, for example, and the type of franchise that he would be matched with? Something practical so people can understand that.
Oh, yeah. Johnny comes in and fills it out, and Johnny receives an 8-page report that helps him understand what his values are, what's important to him, where he fits in the market, right? The size of a company, the culture of a company, that's a best fit. It's really important to say also, as a side note, that the tool is statistically validated by the University of Indiana. So it's third-party validated, and it has a 95.6% correlation between business fit. So what that means is if somebody takes a standard personality test, the correlation between them and a business is going to be less than 3%. There is no guarantee that they are going to gel or be matched to a proper franchise. But and they're not, like other tools don't match. This tool will actually help you understand where you fit. And there's a 95.3%, 95.6%. Sorry if I'm getting my numbers twisted, but it's a 95.6% correlation between this individual, their culture, their characteristics, their professional makeup, and a business that's right for them. And I think that is a tremendous point for people who are foreign nationals to understand. Because when you want to come to the US, you need to trust somebody. And this is one step further than trusting somebody. You're trusting a tool that's been third-party statistically validated, right? That it's an incredible experience. So to continue walking through the tool, understanding what your strengths are, understanding what you're going to rely on as the highest use of your time and talent, and then understanding who on your team you're going to have around you in order to succeed. Who do you need to place on your team? Where are your limitations going to stop you from growing your business? You got to know that, right? If you're an operations person, if you're a person who needs to be client facing, if you're a person who needs to be on the R&D, technical or bookkeeping side of things, you got to know the right place for your talent, because then you're going to make room for other people to join your team with their talent so that you can grow. Otherwise, what are you investing in? You're investing in, in a pipe dream that you're not really learning about yourself in order to cultivate and grow and become truly successful.
Yes.
We want success for 3 years. We want them for 5 years. We want them for 10 years. We want them for 20 years. We want you to be successful.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. And how does the franchisee use this information? Because I know that working with franchises, it's not just us who are matching them with the right franchise or franchises that would be a good fit. But what are some of the things that the franchisee, I guess, looks for, so that, because this is such a powerful tool that everybody's using. We're using it to match. The person is using it to learn about themselves, but also the franchisee is learning about the potential partner or the potential franchisor who's going to be working with them. So what are some of the things that they look for?
So they look to make sure that the way the franchisor represents themselves is the way that the franchisee wants to be represented, right? That there are those matching values. And I hate to keep driving the values point home, but I have to, because it really is all about establishing fit. The other thing is they're going to make sure that the franchisor has the operations and the support in place. So I'll give you an example. Let's go back to Johnny. Let's say Johnny's low in marketing, but Johnny's really high in operations. Well, the home office, Johnny is either going to have to step into a system with very high marketing support, or Johnny's going to have to hire someone who's a great marketer, who has those capabilities and those skills. So it gives you very practical steps and a great guideline for what you need to do, what your next steps are, what your actionable steps are, and how to move into the next phase. This is one piece that is so critical for any business builder, not just somebody interested in franchise. For any business builder, it's critical not just to take the assessment, but also to have the walkthrough.
Yeah. I love that because, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, we make so many assumptions about ourselves, and the things that come easiest to us, quite often we disregard. When the things that come easiest to us are the things that we could truly make a business doing. We could truly build a business off of those things. And this is something that is black and white. It's like, that phrase, I can never unsee this. Well, once you take the assessment, you can never unsee it. You can never unsee yourself as that business builder. So most of us look at our skills as here, but the assessment, investing across borders assessment, helps us understand that our skill set is here. We're actually launching from this role, this height, right? We climb upon our highest vision of ourselves. And this assessment helps us see ourselves at our highest light, in our highest vision, with all of our skills. And it helps us understand how we're going to move forward and who we need to have on our team in order to succeed. Like you can't come to the US without assessing for success.
And also,
well, you can, and they do.
And that may not be
the right way to do it.
No, that may not be so great.
It's not such a great plan, but a lot of people do, because they run and then they walk, or they jump, or they're like, oh, like they hear about a franchise or a business. Like, listen, this is equally applicable to buying an existing business.
Right.
And when you go and buy an existing business, you think, oh, the numbers look good. But what if you aren't able to manage those numbers? Or what if you aren't good at what the prior owner that you're purchasing from was good at? It's a problem.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And we all know how those stories end. We all know how those stories end. That individuals are relying on systems, and then at the last minute, like they're getting their visas, they're stepping into these roles, they're not really ensuring that they're a good fit. And then at the last minute, they're scrambling to make sure that they are meeting the requirements to maintain those visas. And this is a critical step that needs to take place in between. This is for anybody who's already, even if you've purchased a franchise, even if you, work with investing across borders, but you didn't take the assessment yet, it's never too late. It's never too late to take the assessment.
Right. It's just like, I mean, there's many, we always have our people do a variety of assessments before they start working with us, so that we can determine that their profile and personality are going to mesh. Because, we all have our own strengths and weaknesses. And I think that this is a very inexpensive, quick way to get to some of the results that you want and you need. And this is very business focused. It's not only about your personality as a person. It's about how that personality as a person fits into how you might run a business successfully.
And it's not just about personality. I'm glad you brought that up. So there are plenty of personality tests on the market. This is a collection of 7 different sciences, including Harvard Business School, including Stanford Research, including emotional intelligence. There's so much that goes into this tool. It is not a personality test. As a matter of fact, personality is only one of the modules.
Wow. Yeah. It's amazing everything that goes into it. It really, really does. So, Tracy, this has been so phenomenal because you're kind of explaining in a systematic way how we select the franchise and who uses this assessment. And it's not even 30 questions. That's what is the most amazing thing. So it's such a powerful way for us to be able to match people with the right franchise or the right business. And we spoke about how it's not just us using it, it's the franchisee, everybody can really use it to understand a little bit more about a particular person. So we're almost out of time, but I wanted to give you the floor to just, is there something else that maybe I didn't ask you or Lauren didn't ask you that we should have asked you that is important to note about this assessment?
Yeah. And the answer, I'm glad you asked that question. Yes. And it's not so much about the assessment as it is about the process. I think that there's this vision of, I'm going to come to the US, I'm going to pick a franchise. It's, I'm going to hit the ground running. It's going to work and we're going to live happily ever after. And, you can see as Lauren's in there shaking her head, like she wishes we all wish it was that easy. And Lauren's been through the process herself. She is a foreign national. She came here from Canada, right? And things just didn't work out as planned. So you have to be flexible and you have to pivot, which leads to my point. My point is that you need as much, or we need as much handholding on the front end of buying a business as we do once we've purchased the business. We still need that human support. We still need that connection. We still need that person making sure that we're hitting our milestones and being accountable. It's not about buying a business and sitting back. It's about the culture. As a matter of fact, I wrote a piece on culture for the Brazilian consulate in Miami. The culture in the US is very different. People will find this a different culture when they come from other, and I'm not talking about the English language or that we eat hot dogs and burgers. I'm talking about the climate, how to go about business, how to set those right expectations, what those expectations are. You can tell I love this stuff, right? I do. I just eat this up. And it's because I love seeing people succeed. I love seeing people have opportunities that they never dreamed of having. I love walking people through a process on the beginning. And then once they've made that purchase and settled in the US, I love walking them through to hit those milestones, hit those goals, make sure they're on track, doing everything they can to maintain those visas so that they can then be, US citizens, not just for 5 years, not just for 3 years, but that they are here to stay and that they can ensure that legacy for their families. So again, needing as much hand-holding on the front end as the back end, for sure.
Yeah. And, obviously we're happy to take people through the process throughout the whole visa, and then evolving into maybe a separate visa, maybe an L1 or an EB5. So really it's a whole process. There's a lot of components that go into it. The franchise is just one of them. And that's why we have people like Tracy who help us with pretty much the whole process of how somebody's going from one place to the next. And we're there along the way, really. So Tracy, this has been awesome, because a lot of people don't understand that it's not just going out there and saying, oh, I'm interested in cars, so let's just buy a car business. It just doesn't work like that. There's a lot of things that go into
Yeah, that
into
would be much easier, but not very successful.
Exactly.
Oh, and also, just to let everybody know that Tracy is going to be playing a ongoing role with our company, helping us to roll out our post-visa coaching program that we are literally in the process of rolling out right now, and helping with the coaching through the franchise choice and business choice and all of that, all of the elements that go into that. That's not just about matching, but about a lot more and what that means. And I would just want to personally thank you for joining us today, and welcome you back to the team.
Yay. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much. And I look forward to helping, to supporting our team in creating success for all of the people who want to contact us at Investing Across Borders, get involved with the program that we have here, because really it's a phenomenal program that Lauren, Mary, and the team have created. And just looking forward to contributing to your success as a foreign national here in the US and getting that permanent citizenship. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tracy. So if anybody has any questions, we have we're going to put the consult link so that people can actually book the call and get the process started. That's always going to be the first step, because we need to make sure that you're going to be a good fit for us, that you understand the way we work. And also to see if it's even a possibility. A lot of people say, oh, I want to invest in the US. Well, maybe you don't have the capital. Maybe it's just not something that you really want to do. So our team members are putting the consult link in there so that you can schedule a consult. And we're looking forward to working with a lot of people from this group. Actually, a lot of clients came from this group, and we're trying to bring in as many experts so you understand the process along the way. We do have an event happening, which is very exciting. It's going to be in person, and that's happening on April 10th in Toronto. Like, Lauren is actually going to be flying to Toronto next week, so she'll be there. Lauren, do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Me? Sure. So April 10th, 1:30 p.m., right during Passover. And yes, there will be Passover snacks. That's why it's 1:30, so you can eat lunch first. It's downtown. The location is confirmed once you register. It is going to be a lot of fun. There's probably a limit of a number of people, and we're going to definitely go over that limit. So if you want to register and come and learn about investing in the US, potentially buying a franchise and getting a visa and all of the other elements of what we do, real estate investing, please sign up now. We will have a virtual option available. And my partner, Carolyn Gallardo, is going to be flying in from Calgary to be with me live there. And we also have an amazing presentation from one of my other colleagues down here in South Florida that's going to be flying up as well. So it's going to be a pretty important event. So sign up before, well, there's still room, literally. And if there's more than one of you, please register each person individually, because we need to know every single person that's coming, okay? Because it's not about COVID anymore. Now it's just about space limitations. So anyway, and go Jays go, because Blue Jays, well, open spring, what do you call it? Baseball season opens today. So my son is going to the home opener in Toronto on the 11th of April, but we're very excited about the Blue Jays. So let's make sure that they do well this year, because otherwise the kid will be very depressed. So no. So thank you again. I know everybody has meetings to get to, and we're available to consult with you. Tracy will be involved with your process going forward. And thank you, Mary, for always being here and being present and being available for our clients. And we'll see you all soon.
All right. Take care, everybody.
I didn't mean to take over. I just,
no, great. I love it.
She's used to it.
Wrap it up.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.